So the group I chose to do was a parent education group. This would be a group for parents of 6 to 10-year-olds with behavioral concerns. They would be 2-hour sessions with 45 minutes of education, an hour and 25 minutes of processing time. They'd meet weekly for 6 weeks, and the group would be limited to about 10 people. So the group would start with, in the first week, they would do introductions. The parents would introduce themselves, talk about their children, and then share a funny moment just so that it could be kept lighthearted and they could start to build trust and get everybody talking. In the subsequent groups, we would begin with the education hour, then have everybody check in about their week before the processing time and share how their week went personally, and then a parenting moment that was either a success or something that they'd like to work on. This is so we can get everybody talking and so the group could start by focusing on parenting. So the goals of the group would be, the first one would be to ultimately help eliminate child abuse and maltreatment by teaching the parents positive coping skills for their challenging parenting days and teaching them evidence-based parenting skills. Then to create a community of positive parenting that would give the parents opportunities to meet and engage with other parents with children in the same age group, and teach the importance of having a circle of support for both the parents, not just making sure they have friends for their children. And then lastly, to give the parents a supportive place to talk about their challenges, whether economic, mental, or physical. And in this, we would provide resources for help outside of the group. And this is particularly important because a poor predictor of poor outcome, not only for treatment, but for helping with their child's behavior, is the socioeconomic disadvantage, high levels of negative stress, and then parent psychological distress. So if we could help address those things, there's more chance for the group to work. Some of the anticipated issues with a group like this would be inconsistent attendance, lateness, no-shows, attrition, some aggressive opinions on certain parenting topics, or issues amongst parents with their opinions on things. And then the process portion of the group becoming a time to complain about the child's behavior instead of focusing on the parent and what's going on in their life. Some techniques would be, we would be using parent education as the first half of the group, and then also child treatment at the same time, because this is shown to improve the behavior in children more than just child care, and then also more than just parents attending on their own. So if a child is also receiving treatment when their parents are, there's more likely to be improvement in behavior than if the parents just go to a group on parenting. The theory would be brief solution focused, and it would be brief to prevent the attrition and to be sensitive of parents' time. And then solutions focus seems to make sense for this because research has shown that parents are more likely to seek out a group and attend if they believe that there's a problem and if they believe that there's hope for change. So we'd want to capitalize on that hope and help them to see how solutions that they have already seen work with their kids would work in the future too. So the group process would be about the members thinking about their own future and what they want to see looking different, and then leaders will focus on helping the members to develop specific, observable, clear, and realistic changes that could possibly lead to more holistic, positive outcomes. Some of the interventions that we'd use would be questioning, and this would be out of a curiosity about their experience and helping them to come up with just more concretely what their experience was in their own words. We'd use the miracle question to help the group members to describe what life would be like without the problem, exception questions, asking the members about when the problem didn't exist or when a solution actually worked for them. We'd use scaling questions on a scale of 1 to 10, ask them how they've been doing on a certain problem or where they are at this week, and this can help see where they are at that week, but also help track growth. And then we use summary feedback and genuine affirmations and identifying areas of strength that they see developing in their clients. And this would involve giving making sure that the credit goes to the client for the changes that they're seeing. So a group member's role would be to be present and show up on time every week, to be supportive of other members, not giving advice, but to listen well and to encourage their fellow members. To be open when something does not sit well with them or something someone says has triggered them. To be focused on personal behavior in situations and not use the group as a time to complain about their child's behavior isolated from the context of the group and their own responsibility. To participate with the leader and other group members to collaboratively come up with solutions to problems and ideas for positive change. And then lastly, to utilize their own resources to reach their goals instead of being dependent on the therapist or the group. Some ethical things that could come up would be in areas of confidentiality, making sure that the group members understand confidentiality, whether between members of the group or outside of the group. And also with diversity issues, there could be differences amongst parenting styles, and then also behavior values might be different from different cultures. So problems that relate to each of the different stages. In the initial stage, a problem could be building trust, especially in sharing challenges of parenting, because a lot of people don't want to admit that it's mistakes that they've made that have caused some of their child's behaviors. And so a main task for this stage would be setting the stage for how the group is going to be run and to come up with the goals for group members and help them to see that it is a safe place to talk about those things, and that is kind of how we'll function. There'd be possible issues in guiding the group well, in trying to help it not become too much of storytelling, but also not too structured or just an extension of the teaching time. So a possible problem in the transition stage would be a defensiveness about a child's behavior or parenting habit, or again, the storytelling, giving advice, and lack of participation. Problem in the working stage could be, again, building trust and really starting to be courageous and risk in what they're open to sharing with. And then in the final stage, issues could possibly be, because it is a short group, termination might feel like it's coming prematurely, so this time would need to be focused on wrapping up the unfinished business so that there's effective closure for all that are participating. So the basic curriculum would be, the first week could be mostly introductions, helping them to understand what the group is about and kind of basically getting to know each other. Week 2 would be, the education time would be focused on coping skills to help the parents learn about positive coping skills when they're stressed out in parenting, so they don't turn to anger or alcohol or different things like that. The third week, they'd be focusing on parent training, discipline, and role modeling, so helping them to have actual techniques in their parenting. The fourth week would be for support in parenting and helping them to understand like the need for support and possible places where they could get that. The fifth week would be on mental health in parenting and how their mental state can affect what they do and then their child's behavior. And the last week would be on resources, on how they can find help continued on after the group. And then I have a list of the resources that I used, and the last two are examples of groups like this. The first one's in the area, the second one is just the organization of a group like this. Thanks.